So yeah, speaking of toxicity, you were mentioning how our guts and our stomachs and our basically our bodies, which you call the DNA skin suit technology, how it's been affected, how this technology that we are living in has been affected. I mean, when we have a human that is calibrated to its fullest potential without a bunch of injections in it, without disalignments in the skeletal and muscular structure, without belief systems that are actually keeping them prisoners of their own mind through worry and fear and shame, blame, guilt, self-judgment, judgment on others. When we have a human being that is been somehow brought up in a better way, or has been able to detox themselves of this, and that is absolutely possible. I know that you've talked about this before, and we'll talk about it again in a second, but what is the true potential of human? What is the true potential of our DNA technology skin suit? I mean, we hear of these people doing remote view, Ed Dames, the kill shot. I mean, hundreds and thousands of people are remote viewing. Hundreds and thousands of people are now animal communicators or ghost hunters. What do you see in the records of our technology that is our skin suit? What have you read? What do you see? What is our full potential?
Our full potential is at a scale so greater than we have ever become to imagine. Remote viewing is just but one tiny little sample. People have asked me for many years now, how is it that I do what I do? And my answer to them, there's a part of me in the past, a part of me in the future, a part of me in the North Pole, and a part of me in the South Pole. I have acknowledged that I'm a multidimensional, multifunctional, photonic being of light that does not have to agree to time. Toxicity is how you are disconnected from no time and allowing yourself to live in the environment where we all share the dirty energy underwear. Toxicity is the level of coercion and corruption the system of domination and control has over you, even at birth, through a system called ancestral karma that you incarnated or reincarnated with. Toxicity is debt. Debt that was created by other generations of other times who are not the I am presence of now. We need not take on the debt. So when people are looking for this new vein of hope, this new ray of truth, it comes inside. And for the true human potential to be understood, we must conquer our own spiritual toxicity, our own physical toxicity, our own social toxicity, and our technological toxicity. I use those words for a very specific reason. When you bring all of those into a relative balance, meaning you have enough outside and inside time, enough social time, enough all of the balanced times, and all the different levels of reality you have to express, that is how you are existing as a multifunctional, multidimensional being in this layer of timed reality. Your next layer is, how do you do that in an untimed reality? Everyone out there has had a process where they had to have 6 or 7 hours of work that needed to get done, and somehow they got it done in 2. That is how we can warp the reality around us. How people have had to get to work 20 minutes in a 40-minute drive, and they make it there with 1 minute to spare. We shape and manifest our reality at all times. That is the true human potential. When the humans get past shame, blame, and guilt, they get to a level of heart connection where they can hear truth from other voices and have a knowingness that they are greater than those that came before them. That is the true human potential. Our skin suits have skill sets such as clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, telekinesis, aerokinesis, pyrokinesis, and 1,000 others yet to even be described. Ghosts are real. Aliens are real. Everything is real because we have manifested it in this time over millions of years of history. Things from the most ancient parts of our history, long forgotten by our race memories, are being brought back to us by these odd propagandas and appearance of UFOs, and things that make us wonder, what else is out there?
That reminds me, when you're talking about the toxicity, what the Bible says, the sins of the fathers pass to the sons. that sounds a lot like what they say in India with karma. And you were talking about spiritual debt. Would you say that all of these sayings basically speak about the same thing?
Yes, they all speak of the same thing, as how physical debt, dollars, cents, joy, love, hate, all of that stuff transits to how the body passes over and goes into its astral world before it decides to come back and live here. It transits out of the real into the other real, and it chooses to take a debt with it, a debt that it may want to fix the next lifetime in awareness or unawareness. And that is the challenge that everyone on our world is going through now. How much of your past life memories are making it from your light body into your physical incarnate body? And what do you have to do this lifetime? What disciplines do you have to practice? What martial arts do you have to understand to get yourself once again heart-centered, connected into the land that you live on, acknowledging that you have ancestors that live outside of time, that you can co-function in both worlds simultaneously? And the discipline of living a life like that is your inherent legacy. For there is where all of those psychic abilities and powers await, at an unimaginable level of power and usage. And it just requires us to detoxify our minds of the belief systems that are limiting, that create fear, to allow the ignorant, intolerant people who run our world to be told, no, you cannot do it anymore. For we are not God-fearing. We are individual, manifesting, co-creating beings of light. We do not have to fight. We do not have to go to war. We do not have to give the choices that the system tells us to choose out of adrenal gland fight or flight response.
So much information, and I mean the alchemy tips that you shared.
Alchemy, 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 everywhere. We can alchemize anything at any time if we should simply choose the right attitude in the change of consciousness. So alchemy means something. It isn't just a word yet defined. We're at a time in our human potential where the word alchemy must mean so much more to us. We must make that conscious effort and choice to change our lives at the most fundamental layers. An angel is one of those examples who has taken from his own lessons, his own understandings, and applied the toolbox that we've had here so that he can grow something big for his own family, his own friends, his own relatives. And that's the beauty of what this show comes together. All the different perspectives of 20,000 Akashic Record worlds are available here. And the source that is here now, the source stream, sitting here with Natalie and our producer in Romania, we have unique times when we come together. And this was one of those special moments where we were able to transverse from a reading to a conversation into a teaching in these 2 episodes that featured Angel.
Yes. And it was just, we came away from that day feeling so lighthearted and so fulfilled. And there's so many different aspects to this process that we're going through. There's so many unlimited aspects of all the different things, all the different cultures, all the different people. But ultimately, we're humankind. And we all have the same emotions. We all have the same issues. We've all got the same kind of programming that we have to conquer. And what might not seem much for one person can be huge
for
another. And in that sharing of love and understanding, and then the exchanges of each one's experiences, that we can gain their knowledge and maybe then have our own experience, which we can then make into wisdom and truly understand. What is wisdom? It's a full understanding of something. That's when you've gained the wisdom. That's when you've realized the sequence of events that have then created an equation of light that then becomes your experience.
And that experience is what we're meant to be here for.
Yeah.
And we are here to tell the body, you are the experience. I am the experiencer.
Yeah.
And the body is not a, how do I put it, impersonal thing.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a place where cognitive dissonance is supposed to be, but it is. That's just the nature of the society and culture we grew up in that has taken away from the tips of our fingers and the tips of our toes the ecstasy of walking in nature.
Yeah. And you know, when you hear these stories, and there's so many of these incredible shamans and those that are just realizing that they need to go the shamanic path and are really battling because they're living in areas where everybody's having cognitive dissonance. I mean, they awaken and then they go back to sleep because it's just too hard. And these types of shows and those types of tips, if all of us could just do a little bit something for our brothers and sisters out there, bring them into our thought patterns as well, maybe we can lend them enough light so that they get the energy to return. Because I tell you, once they do, this is a really, really different world we will see.
And it won't be a starting gun that says it's a race to get who's to the beginning, because that starting gun signals the end of hierarchical order.
Yeah.
That's what the event is, the end of hierarchical order, and how we as individual beings that are culturally programmed let go of hierarchical order's deception filters it has over us.
Exactly.
After the let's set aside the drama, set aside the actual event. Past the event, at the conclusion of the drama, what are we looking at on this planet? What will it look like to you?
That determines how things roll out. If we determine if we're going to be a single species or not. So much drama has happened that there will be beings that will not accept the single species. So we may end up with several parallel Earths coexisting on top of each other that go through an adjusting phase where the high beings of light can come in and begin unifying the world. Here we talked about a concept that there's essentially 5,800 separate city-states here in our world. In each of those is a dream world creator. So New York City, Los Angeles, London, Melbourne, wherever the big population centers are, that's where there's an amassment of dreamtime energy, and those will all create local realities. So there'll be 5,800 local realities that'll have to come into unity by experiencing the unified dream world of Earth itself. And during the event process, really what it is these 5,800 separate Dreamtime societies coming into unity Dreamline as a global Dreamtime society. So again, the event is multidimensional, multi-level, many different ways. But there will be Dreamtime cities or societies that will not accept it, and they will dream themselves into another world, essentially.
That's a fascinating thing, because one of the aspects of sci-fi that's always attracted me is the idea of city-states. That's a very, very common theme in literature, and movies. You look at movies, Atlantis, the idea of Atlantis, the city of Atlantis, as being a sort of almost a separate living entity. That is, to me, a not impractical way of running a planet, provided, of course, there's not conflict. Actually having those differences, and when you look at it from a Dreamtime point of view, with millions of people in one place, all dreaming, and in their conscious life co-creating unconsciously, it's absolutely no wonder that different cities have such different characteristics. Here we've got this Sydney-Melbourne paradigm. They're different places. They have a different feeling to them. And do you think part of our future is going to be a planet with these quite markedly different and consciously aware of this city-states?
Yes. How the event unfolds, I don't know. But again, I've seen these episodes. It's like, again, describing, I've seen all the episodes of a TV show. And if they come up with one new episode, you can kind of get the theme. Mm-hmm. And my personal opinion, and it's just an opinion, is when it all begins to iron itself out, it'll still be 2,000 separate cities. Some of the soul families will begin to separate by density and age and soul family relationships. And then one part of the Earth will be highly technological, and one part of the Earth will be non-technological and returning to Earth. So these beings can create a new culture based off of a unified Dreamtime society. So if a high-technology person wants to take a vacation on a low-technology part of Earth, they can. or if a low technology person wants to come in and learn about technology that may apply to their low technology life, that'll happen too.
Wow.